of which I got this medal for. Now, this medal right here. Now, let's see. Yes, the year was 1940. I was paradropped in there 2 miles from my target, which was a munitions factory in France. As soon as I dropped down, a dozen German guards, the meanest looking chaps you've ever seen, turned upon me. Away went my submachine gun, mowing them all down within seconds. They were no match for old Cunningham. That's me. So, after I had finished off the 24 guards, I moved along to the factory. I got there within, about 2 minutes after a 3-mile walk. So, I went inside the factory, but there was a problem. There was still lots of scientists and guards in there. But I evaded every single one. So, I got to the main bit where they kept all the gunpowder, placed my charges, and all of a sudden, Acton! What are you doing here, you swine? I turned and saw about an entire platoon of Germans aiming their weapons at me. I leapt out of the way like a tiger and chucked all of my grenades at them. Then I leapt out the window. The grenades killed both platoons. And it set off the explosives, ripping the factory to pieces. So, I then found out I had to find my own way of getting back to Great Britain. So I thought, are there any airfields near here? Yes! So I walked, but it was 5 miles away. But that was no problem for Cunningham, Shinfield University's #1 sprinter. I sprinted the whole 5 miles within about 3 minutes. So, as soon as I got there, I saw that everyone in the airfield had gone to sleep. I quickly ran to the airfield. There was about 2 guards guarding a Messerschmitt 109 parked on the runway. Killed them both with one finger. Then I got in the ME-109, checked it. It was full of ammo, fuel, all that stuff. And I flew away, leaving the 10 dead guards, the airstrip, and the blown-up factory and France far behind. However, as I was over the channel, something most unfortunate happened, if you might say. I ran into a bomber squadron and a few fighter squadrons that were on their way home from a night's job bombing Britain. So I decided, down with you Hun chaps. I dived into the attack and shot down all 3 bomber squadrons in seconds. Then I rose up with my plane and shot down every single fighter there was in the sky. So, it was then that I realized it was time to head home. All of a sudden, the chief of the Luftwaffe, Hermann Göring, appeared in his special Messerschmitt 262, one of the first ever jet fighters ever made, with his elite bodyguards, 50 of them, all flying Focke-Wulf 190 fighters. I thought, run and possibly get mown down. screamed at the enemy. I fired the cannons and machine guns both at the same time. Down went 75 of the fighters. I roared after the other 28 and shot them all down with my pistol. Then all of a sudden, 30 more came at me. I jumped out of my plane. It went cutting straight through 10 of them. Then I landed on one of the remaining fuck-offs, punched through the cockpit, grabbed the pilot out, and threw him towards the sea. Sorry. It's just all of this excitement and sweat these days, and in the olden days makes my moustache fall. Crazy, isn't it? But anyway, back to the story. I got into the fucker-wolf, swung it about, and shot down the last 22 fighters. That's when things got ugly. Hermann Göring himself decided to come after me. He roared at me, firing his cannons, ripping off my wings. I leapt out of the plane and grabbed my parachute and my dinghy, and I soared, and I sliced at his engines, cutting them apart, blowing them to pieces. His plane blew into pieces, but he got out. He paradropped onto an awaiting German frigate. I landed in the sea with my dinghy, and as I saw him riding away, laughing at me, I screamed. I screamed at him like a banshee. That's how I screamed, you know. And, well, about 3 hours later I was found by one of our little motor torpedo boats. Taken back home. Shook hands with the Prime Minister, had a cup of tea, had dinner, went to bed. I thought about what kind of mission I would get the next day. That's pretty much it. So, I hope you've enjoyed my little story. I've enjoyed it just as much. I've enjoyed telling it just as much as you've enjoyed hearing it, my lovely, lovely listeners. This is Cunningham Blake.